Song of Myself, written by Walt Whitman, presented by Ted. My school number is SO34113. Song of Myself. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. I loved it and invited my soul. I leaned and laughed at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. My tongue, every atom of my blood, formed from this soil, this air, born here of parents born here, from parents the same, and their parents the same. I, now 37 years old, in perfect health, begin, hoping to cease not to till death. Creeds and schools in abeyance, retiring back a while, suffice at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbor for good or bad, I permit to speak at every hazer, natural without check with original energy. Houses and rooms are full of perfumes. The shelves are crowded with perfumes. I breathe the fragrance myself and know it and like it. The distillation would intoxicate me also, but I shall not let it. The atmosphere is not a perfume. It has no taste of the distillation. It is odorless. It is for my mouth forever. I'm in love with it. I will go to the bank by the wood and become undisguised and naked. I'm mad for it to be in contact with me. The smoke of my own breath echoes, ripples, buzzed, whispers, love fruits, silk thread, crouch and vine. My respiration and the inspiration, the beating of my heart, the passing of blood and air through my lungs, the sniff of green leaves and dry leaves, and of the shore and dark-colored sea rocks, and of hay in the barn. The sound of the bells, words of my voice, loose to the eddies of the wind. A few light kisses, a few embraces, a reaching around of arms, the plate of shine and shade on the trees as the supple boughs wake. The delight alone, or in the rush of the street, or along the fields and the hillsides, the feeling of health, the full noon trill, the sound of me rising from bed and meeting the sun. Have you reckoned 1,000 acres much? Have you reckoned the earth much? Have you practiced so long to learn to read? Have you felt so proud to get at the meaning of poems? Stop this day and night with me and you shall possess the origin of all poems. You shall possess the good of the earth and sun. There are millions of some left. You shall no longer take things at second or third hand, nor look through the eyes of the dead, nor feed on the spectres in books. You shall not look through my eyes either, nor take things from me. You shall listen to all sides and filter them from yourself. I have heard what the talkers were talking, the talk of the beginning and the end. But I do not talk of the beginning or the end. There was never any more inception than there is now, nor any more youth or age than there is now, and will never be any more perfection than there is now, nor any more heaven or hell than there is now. urge and urge and urge. Always the procreant urge of the world. Out of the dimness, opposite equals advance, always substance and increase, always sex, always in need of identity, always distinction, always a breed of life. To elaborate is no avail. Learn and unlearn feel that it is so. Sure as the most certain sure, plumb and upright, well entritide. Breast in the beams, stout as the horse, affectionate, haughty, electrical. I in this mystery here we stand. Clear and sweet is my salt, and clear and sweet is all that is not my salt. Lack one lacks both, and the unseen is proved by the seen, till that becomes unseen and receives proof in its turn, showing the best and dividing it from the worst. Age vexes age, knowing the perfect fitness and equanimity of things while they discuss. I am silent, engulf bath and admire myself. Welcome is every organ and attribute of me, and if any man hearted and clean, not an inch nor a particle of an inch is vile, and none shall be less familiar than the rest. I'm satisfied, I see, dance, laugh, sing, as the hugging and loving bedfellow sleeps at my side through the night, and withdraws at the peep of the day with stealthy tread, leaving me baskets covered with white towers, swelling the house with their plenty. Shall I postpone my acceptation and realization, and swing at my eyes, that they turn from gazing after and down the road, and forthwith cipher and show me to ascend, exactly the value of one and exactly the value of two, and which is ahead. Trippers and askers surround me, people I meet, the effect upon me of my early life, or the world and the city I live in, or the nation. The latest dates, discoveries, inventions, societies, authors old and new. My dinner, dress, associates, looks, compliments, dues. The real of fancies, indifference of some man or woman I love, the sickness of one of my foes or of myself, or ill-doing, or loss, or the lack of money, or depressions, or exaltations, battles, the horrors of fratricidal war, the fever of doubtful news, the fitful events. These come to me days and nights and go from me again, but they are not the me myself. Apart from the pulling and hauling stands what I am, stands the muse, complacent, compassionating, idle, unitary, looks down this erect or bends an arm on an impalpable certain dress, looking with thy curved head, curious what will come next, both in and out of the game, and watching and wondering at it. Backward I see, in my own days, where I sweated through fog with linguists and contenders. I have no mockings or arguments of witness and weight. I believe in you, my soul. The other I am must not abase itself to you, and you must not be abased to the other. Loft with me on the grass, loose the sob from your throat, Not words, no music or room I want, not costume or lecture, not even the best. Only the lull I like, the hum of your velvet voice. I mind how once we lay such a transparent summer morning, how you settled your head athwart my hips and gently turned over upon me, and parted the shirt from my bosom bone and plunged your tongue to my bare stripped heart, and reached till you filled my beard, and reached till you held my feet. Swiftly aroused and spread around me the peace and the knowledge that passes all the argument of the earth, and I know that the hand of God is the promise of my own, and I know that the Spirit of God is the brother of my own, and that all the men ever born are also my brothers, and the women my sisters and lovers, and that the keystone of the Christian is love, and limitless are leaves sift or dropping in the fields, and brown ants in the little wells beneath them, and mossy scabs of the warm fence heathstones, elder, mullein, and poppy. A child said, "What is the grass?" fetching it to me with full hints. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he. I guessed it must be the flag of my disposition, out of hopeful green stuff woven, or I guess it is the handkerchief of the Lord, a scented gift and remembrance designed dropped, bearing the owner's staying some way in the corners that we may see and remark and say, "Whose?" Or I guess the grass is itself a child, the produced babe of the vegetation. Or I guess it is a uniform hieroglyphic and a mint sprouting alike in broad zones and narrow zones, growing among black folks as among white. Connaught, Tuckahoe, Congressman, Cuff, I give them the same. I receive them the same. And now it seems to me the beautiful uncut hair of graves. Tenderly will I use your curling grass. It may be you transpire from the breast of young men. It may be, if I had known them, I would have loved them. It may be you are from old people or from offspring taken soon out of their mother's laps, and here you are the mother's laps. This grass is very dark to be from the white heads of old mothers, darker than the colorless birds of old men, dark to confirm under the faint red roofs of mouths. Oh, I perceive after all so many uttering tongues, and I perceive they do not come from the roofs of mouths for nothing. I wish I could translate the hints about the dead young men and women, and the hints about old men and mothers and the offsprings taken soon out of their laps. What do you think has become of the young and old men? And what do you think has become of the women and children? They are alive and well somewhere. The smallest sprout shows there is really no death, and if ever there was it, that for life and does not wait at the end to arrest it, and seize the moment life appeared. All goes onward and outward, nothing collapses, and to die is different from what anyone supposed, and luckier. Has anyone supposed it lucky to be born? I hasten to inform him or her it is just as lucky to die, and I know it. I pass death with the dying and birth with the new washed babe, and I am not contained between my hat and boots. and produce manifold objects, no two alike and everyone good. The earth good and the stars good, and their adjuncts all good. I am not an earth nor an adjunct of the earth. I am the mate and companion of people, all just as immortal and fathomless as myself. They do not know how immortal, but I know. Every kind for itself in its own, for me mine, male and female. For me those that have been boys and that love women. For me the man that is proud and feels how it stings to be slight. For me the sweetheart and the old maid. For me mothers and the mothers of the mothers. For me lips that have smiled, eyes that have shed tears. For me children and bed begetters of children. Undraped, you are not guilty to me, nor stale nor discarded. I see through the broadcloth thing, ye come whether or not, and am around, tenacious, active, tireless, and cannot be shaken away. The little one sleeps in this cradle. I lift the gulls and look a long time, and silently brush away flies with my hand. The young sir and the red-faced girl turn aside up the bushy hill. I peeringly view them from the top. The suicide frowns on the bloody floor of the bathroom. I witness the corpse with its dappled hair. I know where the pistol has fallen. The blood of the pave, tears of carts, slough of boot soles talk of the promenaders. The heavy omnibus, the driver with his interrogating thumb, the clank of the shod horses on the granite floor, the snowslides clinking, shouted jokes, pelts of snowballs, the heralds were popular favorites, the fury of roused mobs, the flap of the curtain leader, a sick man inside borne to the hospital, the meeting of enemies, the sudden oath, the blows and fall, the excited crowd, the policeman with his star quickly working his passage to center of the crowd. The impassive stones that receive and return so many echoes. What groans of overfed or half-starved who fall sunstruck or in fit. What exclamations of women taken suddenly who hurry home and give birth to babies. What living and buried speech is always vibrating here. What howls restrained by decorum, arrest of criminals, slights, adulterous offers made, acceptances, rejections with convex lips. I might them or the show or resonance of them. I come and I depart. The big doors of the country barns stand open and ready. The dried grass of the harvest time loads the slow-drawn wagon. The clear light plays on the brown, gray, and green in terror tinge. The armful are packed to the second mow. I'm there, I help, I can stretch the top of the load. I feel the soft jaws, one leg reclined on the other. I jumped from the cross beams and seized the clover and Timothy, and rolled head over heels and tingled my hair full of wisps. Along far in the wilds and the mountains I hunt, wondering amazed at my own lightness and glee. In the late afternoon choosing a safe spot to pass the night, kindling a fire and broiling the fresh killed game. Falling asleep on the gathered leaves, with my dog and gun by my side. The Yankee clipper is on her excised nail. She cuts the sparkle and scuds my unsettled man in a bend that her proud or shout joyously from the deck. The boatmen and clam diggers aroused early and stopped for me. I tucked my trouser ends in my boots and went and had a good time. You should have been with us that day round the chowder kettle. I saw the marriage of the trapper in the open air in the far west. The bride was a red girl. Her father and his friends sat near cross-legged and dumbly smoking. They had moccasins to their feet and large thick blankets hanging from their shoulders. On a bank lounged the trapper. He was dressed mostly in skins. His luxuriant beard and curls protected his neck. He held his bride by the hand. She had long eyelashes. Her head was bare. Her coarse, straight locks descended upon her voluptuous limbs and reached to her feet. The runaway slave came to my house and stopped outside. I heard his motion cracking the twigs of the wood pile. Through the swan half-door of the kitchen I saw him limpsy and weak, and when where he sat under the log, it let him in and assured him, and brought waters and filled a tub for his sweaty body and bruised feet, and gave him the room that inner from my own, and gave him some coarse, clean clothes, and remembered perfectly well his revolving eyes and his awkwardness, and remembered putting plasters on the gall of his neck and ankle. He stayed with me a week before he was recuperated and passed north. I'd had him sit next to me at table, my firelock lean in the corner. 28 young men bathed by the shore. 28 young men and also friendly. 28 years of womanly life and also lonesome. She owns the fine house by the rise of the bank. He hides himself and richly dressed at the blinds of the window. Which of the young men did she like the best? The homeliest of them is beautiful to her. Where are you off to, lady? For I see you. You splashed in the water there, yet Steakstock stood in your room. Dancing and laughing along the beach came the 29th bather. The rest did not see her, but she saw them and loved them. The beards of the young men glistening with sweat, it rained from their long hair, little streams passed over their bodies. An unseen hand also passed over their bodies. It descended tremblingly from their temples and ribs. The young men float on their backs, their white bellies bulge the sun. They do not ask who sees fast to them. They do not know who puffs and declines with pennant and bendant arc. They do not think whom they sells with thread. The butcher boy puts off his cooling clothes or sharpens his knife at the salt and market. I loitered, enjoying his repartee in his shuffled and breakdown. Blacksmiths with grim and hairy chests environed the anvil. Each has his main slaves that are all out. There's great heat in the fire. From the cinders to threshold I follow their movements. The lithe sheer of their weights place even with their massive arms. Overhand the hammers swing, overhand so low, overhand so sure. They do not hasten, each man hits in his place. The Negro holds firmly the reins of his 4 horses. The flock swags underneath on its tie-over chain. The Negro that drives the long dray of the stone yard steady and tall, the stands poised on one leg on a string piece. His blue shirt exposed his ample neck and breast and loosened over his hip breadth. His glance is calm and commanding. He tosses the slouch of his hat away from his forehead. The sun falls on his crispy hair, and mustache falls on the black of his polished and perfect limbs. I behold the picturesque giant and love him. And I do not stop there. I go with the team also. In me the cares of life whenever moving backward as well as forward slewing. To niches aside and junior bending, not a person or object missing. Observing all to myself and for this song. Oxen that rattle the yoke and chain of holds in the leafy shade, what is that you express in your eyes? It seems to me more than all the bring that I have read in my life. My tread scales the wood drag and wood dog on my distant and day-long ramble. They rise together, they slowly circle around. I believe in those wind purposes, and acknowledge red, yellow, white planning with me, and consider green and violets and the tuft crown intentional. And do not call the tortoise unworthy because she's not something else. And the jay in the woods never studied the gamut, yet trilled pretty well to me, and the look of the bay mare shames silliness out of me. The wild gander leads his flock through the cool night, yet honks it and sounds it down to me like an invitation. The perf may suppose it meaningless, but I listening close, find its purpose and place out there towards the wintry sky. The sharp-hoofed moons of the north, the cat on the house steel, the chickadee, the prairie dog, the litter of the grunting soul that's a tug at his treat, the bruise of the turkey hen and she with his half-draft winds. I see in them in myself the same old law. The price of my food to the earth springs 100 affection. They scorn the best I can do to relate them. I am in moors of growing outdoors, of men that live among cattle or taste of the ocean or woods, of the builders and steerers of ships and the wielders of axes and molds, and the drivers of horses. I can eat and sleep with them week in and week out. What is commonest, cheapest, nearest, easiest is me. Me going in for my chances, spending for vast returns, adorning myself to bestow myself on the first that would take me, then asking the sky to come down to my good well, scattering it freely forever. Dazzling and tremendous, how quick the sunrise would kill me, if I could not now and always send sunrise out of me. We'd also send dazzling and tremendous as the sun. We found our own, oh my soul, in the calm and cool of the daybreak. My voice goes after what my eyes cannot reach, with the twirl of my tongue that encompass worlds and volumes of worlds. Speech is the twin of my vision. It is unequal to measure itself. It provokes me forever. It says sarcastically, "Words you contain enough, why don't you let it out then? Come down, I will not be tantalized. You conceive too much of articulation. Do you not know, O speech, how the buds beneath you are folded, waiting in gloom, protected by frost, the dirt receding before my prophetical scream, silent lying causes to balance them at last. My knowledge, my love part, it keeping totally with the meaning of all things. Happiness, Which whoever hears me, let him or her set out in search of this day. My final merit, I refuse you. I refuse putting from me what I really am. Encompass worlds, but never try to encompass me. I crowd your sleekest and best by simply looking towards you. Writing and talks do not prove me. I carry the plenum of proof and everything else in my face. With a hush on my lips, I wholly confound the skeptic. Now I would do nothing but listen, to echo what I hear into the song, to let sounds contribute towards it. I hear bravurious of birds, bustle of growing wheat, gossip of flames, clack of sticks cooking my meals. I hear the sound I love, the sound of the human voice. I hear all sounds running together, combined, fused, or falling. Sounds of the city and sounds out of the city. Sounds of the day and night, talkative young ones to those that like them. The loud laugh of work people at their meals, the angry bass of disjointed friendship, the faint tones of the sick, the judge with hands tied to the desk, his pallid lips pronouncing a death sentence. The heave yelled of stevedores unlading ships by the wharves, the refrain of the anchor lifter, the ring of alarm bells, the cry of fire, the whirl of swift striking engines, and hose carts with premonitory tinkles and colored lights. The steam whistle, the solid roll of the train of approaching cars, the stole march played at the head of the association marching two and two. They go to guard some courts. The flag tops are dropped with black muslin. I hear the violoncelo. 'Tis the young man's heart complaints. I hear the key cornet. It glides quickly in through my ears. It shakes mad sweet pans through my belly and breast. I hear the chorus. It is a grand opera. This indeed is music. This suits me. A tanner large and fresh as the Christian fills me. The orbic flex of his mouth is pouring and filling me full. I hear the train's soprano. What works with hers is this. The orchestra whirs me wider than Uranus' flight. Arranges such ardors from me, I did not know I possessed them. It sells me, I dab with bare feet, there licked by the indolent waves. Uncut by bitter and angry hell, I lose my breath. Steeped amid honey morphine, my one pipe throttle in face of death, and then let out again to feel the puzzle of puzzles, and that we call being. To be in any form, what is that? Round and round we go out of this, and never come back thither. If nothing lay more developed, the quaqua in its colored shell will enough. Mine is no colored shell. I have instant conductors over me, whether I pass or stop. They seize every object and lead it harmlessly through me. I merely stir, press, feel with my fingers, and am happy. To touch my person to someone else is about as much as I can stand. Is this then a touch? Quivering me to a new identity. Flames and ether making the rush through my veins. Treacherous tips of me reaching and crowding to help them. My flesh and blood playing out lightning to strike what is hardly different from myself. On those sides, prurient provokers, stiffening my limbs, straining the other of my heart for its withheld drip, behaving licentious towards me, talking no Daniel, depriving me of my best as for the purpose, unbuttoning my clothes, holding me by the bare waist, deluding my confusions, with the calm of the sunlight and pastured fields. Immodestly sliding the fellow senses away, they brave to swap off with touch and golden grass at the age of May. No consideration, no regard for my draining strength or my anger, fetching the rest of the herd around to enjoy them the while, then all uniting to stand on heaven and worry me. The centuries desert every other part of me. They have left me helpless to a red marauder. They'll come to the headland and to witness and assist against me. I am given up by traitors. I talk wildly. I have lost my wits. I and nobody else am the greatest traitor. I win myself first to the headland. My own hands carry me there. You villain touch, what are you doing? My breath is tight in this throat. Unclench your flute gates, you're too much for me. Blind loving wrestling touch, sheath, hood, sharp tooth touch. Did it make it act so, living me? Parting track by arriving, perpetual pavement of perpetual loan. Rich showering rain and recompense, richer afterward. Sprouts taking accumulate, stamped by the curb, prolific and vital. Landscapes projected masculine, full-size and golden. All truths wait in all things, they neither hasten their own delivery nor resist it. They do not need the obstetric forceps of the surgeon. The insignificant is as big to me as any. What is death or more than the touch? Logic and sermons never convince. The damp of the night drives deeper into my soul. Only what proves itself to every man and woman is so. Only what nobody denies is so. A minute and a drop of me settle my brain. I believe the soggy clouds shall become lovers and lambs, and a companion of companions is the meat of a man or woman. In the summit in flower there is the feeling they have for each other, and they are to branch boundlessly out of that lesson until it becomes omnific, and until one and all shall delight us, and we them. I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars, and the pismar is equally perfect, and a grain of sand and the egg of the worm. And the tree taught is achieved dover for the highest, and the running blackberry would adorn the power lords of heaven, and the narrowest hinge in my hand puts to scorn or mercenary, and the cow crouching with depressed head surpass any stated, and a mouse is miracle enough to stagger sextillions of infidels. I found an incorporate genus called long-threaded moth fruits grants esculent fruits, and am stuckled with crowded and birds all over, and have distant what is behind me for good reason, but caught anything back again when I desired it, in vain the speeding or shininess, in vain the plutonic rocks send a old heat against my approach, in vain the mastodon retreats beneath its own powder bones, in vain objects stand league of and assume manifold shapes, in vain the ocean settling in hollows and the great monster lying low, in vain the buzzard houses herself with the sky, in vain the snake slides through the creeper and locks, in vain the elk takes to the inner passes of the woods, in vain the razor-billed ox sails from north to Labrador. I follow quickly as descend to the nest in the fissure of the cliff. I think I could turn and live with animals. They're so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and low, they do not sweat and wind about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for the sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. No, not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relation to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they can get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago, then negligently drop them? Myself moving forward them, and now and forever, gathering and showing more always, and with velocity, infinite and omnigenous, and the like that bleeds among them, not too exclusive towards the reaches of my remembrance. Picking out here one that I love, and now go with them on brotherly terms. A gigantic beauty of the stallion, fresh and responsive to my caresses. Head high in the forehead, wild between the ears, limbs glossy and supple, tail dusting the ground, eyes full of sparkling weakness, ears finely cut, flexibly moving. His nostrils delayed as my heels embraced him. His well-built limbs trembled with pleasure as we raced around and returned. I but use you a minute, then I resign you, stallion. Why do I need your passes when I myself out-gallop them, even as stand or sit, passing faster than you? Space and time. Now I see it is true what I guessed when I laughed on the grass, what I guessed while I lay alone in my bed, and again as I walked the beach under the paling stars of the morning, my thighs and ballast leave me, my elbows rest in sea gaps, I skirt seas, my palms covered continent, and my feet with my fishing. By the city's quadrangular houses and log huts, camping with lumbermen along the roads of the turnpike, along the dry gulch and rivulet bed, weeding my onion patch or hoeing rows of carrots and parsnip, crossing savannas, traveling in forests. Prospecting, gold digging, girl dealing the treat of new purchase. Scorched ankle deep by the Cosand, hauling in my boat down the shallow river, where the panther walks to and fro on a limb overhead, where the buck turns furiously at the hunter, where the rattlesnake suns his flabby length on the rock, where the otter is feeding on fish, where the alligator in his Dutch pimples sleeps like Bagu, where the black bear is searching for roots or honey, where the beaver pats the mud with his paddle-shaped tail, over the growing sugar of the yellow flower cotton plant, of the rice in the slow moist field, of the sharp pecan house with the scallop scum and slender shoots from the gutters, over the western persimmon, over the long-leaved corn, over the delicate blue flower flax, over the white and brown buckwheats of Hummer and buzzard there with the rest, over the dusky green of the rye as it ripples and shades in the breeze, scowling mountains, pulling myself cautiously up, holding on by low, scrag limbs, walking the path worn in the grass, and beat through the leaves of the brush, where the quail is whistling betwixt the woods and the wheat-lot, where the bat flies in the 7th month's eve, where the great gold-bug drops through the dark, where the brooks put out of the roots of the old trees and flows through the meadow, where cattle stand and chase away flies to the tremulous shivering of their height, where the cheese cloth stands in the kitchen, where Aniran straddled the hearth lap, where cobwebs falls in festoons from the rafters, where trip hammer crash with presses whirling its cylinders. Whenever the human heart beats with terrible throes under its ropes, where the pure-shaped balloon is floating aloft, floating in it myself and looking composed down, where the life-card is thrown at the slit nose, where the heat hatches pale-green eggs in the dented saint, where the she-whale swims with her calf and never forsakes it, where the steamship trails in the waves of slow pennant smoke, where the fin of the shark cuts like a black chip out of the water, where the half-run brig is threading on unknown currents, where shells grow through her slim deck, where the dead are corrupting below, where the dense star flax is born at the head of the regiment. Approaching Manhattan not by the lone stretching island, under Niagara, the cataract falling like a field of my continents. Upon the doorstep, upon the horse block of hardwood outside, upon the raised course, or enjoying picnics or jokes, or a good game of baseball. At a festival, the blackguard gives ironical license for dances, drinking, laughter, at the cedar mile, tasting the sweets of the brown mash, sucking the juice through the straw. At apple peeling, wanting kisses for all the red fruit I find. At musters, beach parties, friendly beats, huskings, house racing, weird mockingbird sounds, delicious gurgles, cackles, screams, weep, where the hay rick stands in the barnyard, where the dry stalks are scattered, where the brew cow waits in the oval, where the bull defends to do his masculine work, where the stud to the male, where the cock is trading the hen, where the heifers browse, where the geese knit their food with short shirts, where sound-out shadows lengthen over the limitless and lonesome prairie, where herds of buffalo make the crawling spreads of the square miles far and near, where the hummingbird shimmered, where the neck of the long-lived swan is curving and whining, where the laughing gull scoots by the shore, where she laughs her sneer human laugh, where bees range on a grey bench in the garden half bedded by the high woods, where hen necks partridge roast in the ring on the ground with their heads up, where burial coaches enter the arched gates of the cemetery, where winter woes bark amid waves of snow in sickle trees, where the yellow-crowned heron comes to the edge of the marsh at night and feeds upon small crabs, where the splash of swimmer and diver cools the warm noon, where the katydid works a chromatic reeds on the walnut tree over the well, through patches of citrons and cucumbers with silver-wire leaves, through the salt lick or orange-glad or under conical fert, through the gymnasium, through the curtained saloon, through the office or public hall, pleased with the native and pleased with the foreign, pleased with the native and pleased with the foreign, pleased with the new and old, pleased with the homely woman, pleased with the quakeress as she puts off her bonnets and talks melodiously, pleased with the tune of the chord of the whitewashed church, pleased with the earnest words of the sweating Methodist preacher, impressed seriously at the camp meeting, looking in at the shop windows of Broadway the whole forenoon, flattening the flesh of my nose on the thick plate glass, wandering the same afternoon with my face turned up to the clouds, or down a lane or along a beach, my right and left arms around the sides of two friends and I in the middle, coming home with a silent and dark-checked bush boy. Behind me he rides at the drop of the day, far from the settlements, studying the print of animals' feet, or the moccasin print. White cot in the hospital, reaching lemonade to the feverish patient, night coughing corpse when all is still, examining with a candle. Voyaging to every port to dicker and adventure, hurrying with the modern crowds, as eager and fickle as any, hot towards one I hate, ready in my madness to knife him, solitary at midnight in my backyard, my thoughts gone from me a long while, walking the old hills of Judah, with the beautiful gentle God by my side, speeding through space, speeding through heaven and the stars, speeding amid 7 satellites and the broad ring, and the diameter of 80,000 miles, speeding with stealth, method, throwing fireballs like the rest, carrying the Christian child that carried its own full mother in this valley, storming, joining, planning, loving, cautioning, backing and filling, appearing and disappearing. I treat day and night such roads. I visit the art charts of the foods and look at the product and looks at quintillions, ribbons and look at quintillions green. I fly lost flights of the flutes and swallowing so. My course run below the soundings of plummets. I help myself to material and immaterial. No guard can shut me off, no law prevent me. I anchor my ship for the little while only. My messengers continually cruise, wait, or bring their return to me. I go hounding polar fjords and the seal, leaping chasms with pike point staff clinging to topple of redolent blue. I descend to the forest struck. I take my place late at night in the crow's nest. We sail the Arctic Sea. It is plenty light enough through the clear atmosphere that stretched around on the wonderful beauty. The enormous masses of ice pass me and I pass them. The scenery is flat in all directions. The white-topped mountain shows in the distance. I flying out my fancies towards them. We are approaching some great battlefields in which we're soon to be engaged. We pass the colossal outposts of the encampment. We pass with still feet and caution, or we're entering by the suburbs some vast and ruined city. The blocks and fallen architectures more than all the living cities of the globe. I am a free companion. I revoke by invading watchfires. I turn a bridegroom out of bed and stay with the bride myself. I tighten her all night to my thighs and lips. My voice is the wife's voice, the screech by the rail of the stairs that fetch my man's body up, stripping and down. I understand the large hearts of heroes, the courage of present times and all times, how skippers sought crowded and ruinous wreck of steamship in death chasing it up and down the sword, how the knuckled sides and give no back an inch, and was faithful of days and faithful of nights, and shout in large letters on the board, be of good cheer, we will not desert you. How he followed with them and tackled with them 3 days and when I give it up. How he saved the drifting company at last. How the lank, loose-gowned women looked when bolted from the side of their prepared graves. How the silent, out-faced infants and the lifted sick and the sharp-lipped unshaven. All this I swallowed, it tastes good, I like it well. It becomes mine. I am the man, I suffered, I was there. The disdain and calmness of my maidservant, the mother of old, condemned for the witch, burned by dry woods, her children gazing on, The howling slave that flags in the rage leans by the fence, blowing, covered with sweat. The twinge that sting like needles his leg and neck. The murderer's buckshot and the bullets. All these I feel or am. I am the hounded slave. A winds that bite of the dogs held in despair are upon me. Cracking again, crack the marksman. I clutch the rails of the fangs, my gore drip thing with the holes of my skin. I fought on reeds and stones, the rider spurred the unwilling horses, howl close down my dizzy ears and beat me violently over the heads with whipstocks. Agonies are one of my chains of garments. I do not ask the wounded person how he feels. I myself become the wounded person. My hurts turn livid upon me as I lean on the cannon observe. Am the masked firemen with breastbone broken. Tumbling walls bury me in their debris. Heat and smoke uninspired, I heard the yelling shouts of my comrades. I heard the distant click of their picks and shovels. They have cleared the beams away, they tenderly lift me forth. I light in the night air in my red shirt. The pervading hush is for my sake. Painless after all I lie exhausted, but not so unhappy. White and beautiful are the faces around me, the hats are bared of their fire caps. The kneeling crowds fades with the light of the torches. Distant and dead resuscitate. They showed us the dial of or move vested hands of me. I'm the clock myself. I'm an old artillerist. I thought of my force bombardment. I'm there again a long road of the drummers, again the attacking cannon mortars, again to my listening ears the cannon responsive. I take part the seat and hear the whole, the cries, curse roll, the plaudits of well-aimed shots. The ambulance slowly passing, trailing its red-dripped workmen searching after damage, making indispensable repairs. The fall of grenades through the rain drove the fanged shades of explosion. The widths of them set stone, wood, iron high in the air. Again gurgles the mouth of my dying general. He furiously waves his hands. He gasps through the cloud mine, not me, the entrenchments. Now, I tell what I knew in Texas in my early youth. I tell not the fall of Alamo. Not one escapes to tell the fall of Alamo. The 150 are dumb yet at Alamo. 'Tis the tale of the murder and cold blood of 412 young men, retreating there had formed in the hollow square with their baggage for breastworks. 900 lives out of the surrounding enemies, 9 times their number, was the price they took in defense. The colonel was wounded and the ammunition gone. They treated for an honorable capitulation, received writing and seal, gave up their arms and marched back prisoners of war. They were the glory of the race of Rangers. Matchless with horse rifle sound, supper, courtship, large, succulent generals, handsome, proud, and affectionate, beard, sunburned, dressed in the free custom of hunters, not a single one of 30 years of age. The second first that morning they were brought out in squads and massacred. It was beautiful early summer. The work commenced about 5 o'clock and was over by 8. I'm of old and young, of the foolish as much as the wise, regardless of others, ever regardful of others, maternal as well as paternal, the child as well as the man, stuffed with the stuff that is coarse and stuffed with the stuff that is fine. One of the nation of many nations, the smallest the same and the largest the same. A southerner soon as a northerner, a planter nonchalant and hospitable, down by the Orkney I live. in Yankee bound my own way ready for trade, my joints the limberest joints on earth and the sternest joints on earth. Akin Chicken, walking the veldt of the Yukon in my deer skin leggings, a Louisianian or Georgian, a boatman over lakes or bays or along coast, a Hoosier, Badger, Buckeye, at home on Canadian snowshoes or up in the bush, or with fishermen of Newfoundland, at home in the fleet of iceboats sailing with the rest and tackling, at home on the hills of Vermont or in the woods of Maine, or the Texan range, comrade of Californians, comrade of free Northwesterners, living their big proportions, comrade of craftsmen and coalsmen, comrade of all who shake hands and welcome to drink and meat. A learner with the simplest, the teacher of the thoughtfulest, a novice beginning yet experience of myriads of seasons, of every hue and cast and eye, of every rank and religion. A farmer, mechanic, artist, gentleman, sailor, quaker, prisoner, fancy man, rowdy, lawyer, physician, priest. I resist anything better than my own diversity. Breathe the air, but leave landing after me. And am not stuck up, and am in my place. The moth and the fish eggs are in their place. The bright suns I see and the dark suns I cannot see are in their place. The palpable is in its place, and the impalpable is in its place. These are really the thoughts of all men in all ages and lands. They are not original with me. If they are not yours as much as mine, they are nothing, or next to nothing. If they are not the riddle and the untying of the riddle, they are nothing. If they are not just as close as they are distant, they are nothing. This is the grass that grows wherever the land is and the water is. This the common air that baths the globe. With music strum I come with my cornet and my drums. I play not marches for accepted victors only. I play marches for conquered and slain persons. Have you heard that it was good to gain the day? I also said it is good to fall. Battles are lost in the same spirit in which they are won. I beat and pound for the dead. I blow through my adventures, my loudest and gayest for them. Vivas to those who have felt, into those whose war vessels sang in the sea, into those themselves who sang in the sea, into all generals that lost engagements and all overcome heroes, and the numerous unknown heroes equal to the greatest heroes known. This is the meal equally set. This is the meat for natural hunger. It is for the wicked just the same as the righteous. I make appointment with all. I will not have a single person slightly or laughed away. The catwoman, sponger, thief are hereby invited. The heavy-lipped slave is invited. The venerable Lee is invited. There shall be no difference between them and the rest. This is the press of a bashful hand. This is the float and odor of hair. This is the touch of my lips to yours. This is the murmur of yearning. This, the far off depth and height reflecting my own face. This, the thoughtful merge of myself and the outlet again. Do you guess I have some intricate purpose? Well, I have for the 4th month showers have, and the mica on the side of the rock has. Do you take it? I will astonish. Does the daylight astonish? Does the early red start twittering through the woods? Do I astonish more than they? This hour I tell things in confidence I might not tell everybody, but I will tell you, who goes there, hankering grasp mystical nude. How is it I extract strength from the beef I eat? What is the man anyhow? What am I? What are you? All I mark as my own, you shall offset it with your own, else you were time lost listening to me. I do not snivel that snivel the world over, that mounds are vacuums and the ground but wallow and filth, whimpering and truckling filled with powders for invalids, conformative ghosts to the force removed. I wear my hat as I please indoors or out. Why should I pray? Why should I venerate and be ceremonious? Having pried through the strata, analyzed to the hair, consult with doctors and calculated close, I find no sweeter fat than sticks to my bones. And of people I see myself none more and not one a barley corn less. And the good or bad I said of myself, I say of them. I know I'm solid and sound. To me, the converging objects of the universe perpetually flow. All are written to me, and I must get what the written means. I know I'm deathless. I know this orbit of mine cannot be swept by a carpenter's compass. I know I shall not pass like a child's harlequin cut with a burned stick at night. I know I'm august. I do not trouble my spirit to vindicate itself or be understood. I see that the elementary laws never apologize. I reckon I behave no prouder than the level I plan my house by after all. I exist as I am, that is enough. If no other in the world be aware, I sit content. And if each and all be aware, I sit content. One world is aware, and by far the largest to me, and that is myself. And whether I come to my own today, or in 10,000 or 10,000,000 years, I can cheerfully take it now. Or with equal cheerfulness I can wait. My foothold is tainted and mortised in granite. I laugh at what you call dissolution, and I know the amplitudes of time. I am the poet of the body, and I am the poet of the soul. The pleasures of heaven are with me, and the pains of hell are with me. The first I graft and increase upon myself, the latter I translate into a new tongue. I am the poet of the woman, the same as the man, and I say it is as great to be a woman as to be a man. And I say there is nothing greater than the mother of man. I chant the chain of distillation or pride. We have had ducking and deprecating about enough. I showed that size is only development. Have you outstripped the rest? Are you the president? It is a trifle. They will more than arrive there, everyone, and still pass on. He that walks with the tender and growing night. I call to the earth and sea, half held by the night. Press close, bare bosom night. Press close, magnetic, nourishing night. Night of south winds, night of the large few stars. Still nothing night. Mad naked summer night. Smell, O voluptuous, cool-breathed earth. Earth of the slumbering and liquid trees. Earth of the parted sunsets. Earth of the mountains misty topped. Earth of the virtuous power of the full moon just tinged with blue. earth of shine and dark mottling the tide of the river, earth of the limpid grade of clouds, brighter and clearer for my sake. Far swooping apple earth, rich apple blossom earth, smile, for your lover comes. Prodigal, you have given me love, therefore I to you give love. Oh, unspeakable passionate love. You see, I resign myself to you also. I guess what you mean. I behold from the beach your crooked, inviting fingers. I believe you've refused to go back without feeling of me. We must have a turn together. I undressed. Hurry me out of sight of the land. Cushions me soft, rock me in billowy draughts, dash me with amorous sweat. I can repay you. Seed of stretched round swells, seed breathing broad and convulsive rest, seed of the brain of life and of unshuffled yet always ready graves, howler of scooper of storms, capricious and dainty sea, I'm integral with you. I'm two am of one face and of all faces, partaker of influx and efflux, I, extoller of hate and conciliation, extoller of famines and those that sleep in each other's arms. I am he, asking sympathy. Should I make my list of things in the house and skip the house that supports them? I am not the poet of goodness only. I do not decline to be the poet of wickedness also. What blurred is this about virtue and about vice? Evil propelled me, and reform of evil propelled me. I stand indifferent. My gate is no fault finder's or rejecter's gate. I moisten the roots of all that has grown. Did you fear some scrufula out of the unflagging pregnancy? Did you guess the celestial laws are yet to be worked over and rectified? I find one side in the balance and the antipolar side of balance. Soft doctrine as steady help as stable doctrine. Thoughts and deeds of the present are roused in early start. This minute that comes to me over the past Sicilians, there's no better than it and now. What behaved well in the past or behaves well today is not just such a wonder. The wonder is always and always how there can be a mean man or an infidel. Endless unfolding of words of ages, in mind the word of the modern, the word in messy, a word of the faith that never balks here or henceforward. It is all the same to me. I accept time absolutely. It alone is without flaw. It alone rounds and completes all. That mystic, baffling wonder alone completes all. I accept reality and dare not question it. Materialism first and that's booing. Hooray for positive science! Long live exact demonstration. Fetch stoner crop mixed with cedar and branches of lilac. This is the lexicographer. This is the chemist. This made a grammar of the old cartridges. These mariners for the ship through dangers and known seas. This is the geologist. This works with the scalpel, and this is a mathematician. Gentlemen, to you and the first, honors always. Your facts are useful, and yet they are not my dwelling. I but enter by them to an area of my dwelling, thus the reminders of properties told my words. And more the reminders there of life untold in the freedom and extrication. And make sure account of neuters and geldings and vavorments and women fully equipped. and beat the gown of revolt, and stop with fugitives, and then that plot and conspire. Walt Whitman, the cosmos of Manhattan, the sun, turbulent, fleshy, sensual, eating, drinking, and breeding, no sentimentalist, no standard above men and women or apart from them, no more modest than immodest. Unscrew the locks from the doors, unscrew the doors themselves from their jambs. Whoever degrades another degrades me, and whatever is done or said returns at last to me. Through me the flux is surging and surging, through me the current and index. I speak the past very primeval. I give the sign of democracy. By God, I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. Through me many long-dumb voices of interminable generation of prisoners and slaves, voices of the deceased and the pairing and of thieves and dwarfs, voices of cycles of preparation and their Christian, and of the threads that cannot connect that starts in the wombs and of the father stuff, and of the rights of them the others undown upon, of the foreign trivial flat foolish despise fog in the air, beetle rolling bells of dawn. Through me forbidden voices, voices of sexes and love's voices filled, and I remove the veil, voices in innocence by me clarified and transfigured. I do not press my fingers across my mouth, I keep as delicate around the bulge as around the head and heart. Copulation is no more rank to me than death is. I believe in the flesh and the appetite, seeing, hearing, feeling are miracles in each part, and take of me is miracle. Divine am I inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch or am touched from. The scent of these armpits aroma finger finer than prayer. This had more than churches, Bibles, and all the creeds. If I worship one thing more than another, it shall be the spread of my own body, or any part of it. Translucent modes of me, it shall be you. Shaded lace and dressed, it shall be you. Fair masculine color, it shall be you. Whatever goes to the tilt of me, it shall be you. You my rich blood, your milky stream pals dripping of my life. Breast that presses against other breast, it shall be you. My brain, it shall be your occult convolutions. Root of washed sweet flack, tamarisk pound snipe, nest of guarded duplicated eggs, it shall be you. Mixed tussle hate of fat, beard brown, it shall be you. Trickling sapple maple, fibred of mailing weeds, it shall be you. Sons ungenerous, it shall be you. Vapors, lightning, and shade in my face, it shall be you. You sweaty bruise and dews, it shall be you. Winds whose soft and tickling genitals rub against me, it shall be you. Broad muscular, fields, branches of light oak, loving lounger, and in my winding paths, it shall be you. Hands I've had taken, face I've kissed, mortal I have ever touched, it shall be you. I doubt on myself, there is that lot of me, and also lustrous. Each moment and whatever happens thrill me with joy. I cannot tell how my ankles bend, nor whence the cause of my faintest wish, nor the cause of the friendship I meet, nor the cause of the friendship I take again, that I walk up my stoop, I pause to consider if it really be. A morning glory in my window satisfy me more than the metaphysics of books. To behold the daybreak, the little light fades, the mains in their fullness shadows. The air tastes good to my palate. Halves of the moving world as innocent gamboled silently racing freshly exuding, scooting obliquely high and low. Something I cannot see puts upward, libidinous frowns, Caesar's bright jewels, suffuse heaven. The earth by the sky stay with the daily close of the junction. The heave challenge from the east that moment over my head. The mocking taunt, see them whether you shall be master. The pure contralto sings in the organ loft. The carpenter dresses his playing the tone of his four-plan whistles, its wild ascending lips. The married and unmarried children ride home to their Thanksgiving dinner. The pilot sees the kingpin. He heaves down with a strong arm. The mate stands rest in the whaleboat. Lance and harpoon are ready. The duck shooter walks by silent and cautious stretches. The deacons are ordained with crossed hands at the altar. The spinning girl retreats and advances to the hum of the big wheel. The farmer stops by the bars as he walks on the first day loaf and looks at oats and rye. The lunatic is carried at last to the asylum and confirmed case. He will never sleep any more as he did in the cot in his mother's bedroom. The jeweler printer, with grey head and gown jeweled, works at his case. He turns his quid of tobacco while his eyes blurred with the manuscript. The malformed limbs are tied to the surgeon table. What is removed drops horribly in a pail. The quadroon girl is sold at the auction stand. The drunkard nods by the barroom stove. The machinist rolls up his sleeves. The policeman troubles his beat. The gatekeeper marks who passed. The young fellow drives the express wagon. I love him, though I do not know him. The half-breed straps on his light boots to compete in the race. The western turkey shooting draws old and young. Some lean on their rifles, some sit on blocks. Out from the crowd steps the marksman. Take his position, level his piece. The groups of newly come immigrants cover the wharf or leave. As the woolly pads hold in the sugar field, the overseer views them from his saddle. The bugle calls in the ballroom. The gentlemen run for their partners. The dancers bow to each other. The youth lies awake in the cedar-roofed garret and harks to the musical rain. The wolverine set traps on the creek. The help till the horn. The squaw wraps in her yellow humped cloth is offering moccasins and bee-bags for sale. The connoisseur peers along the exhibition gallery with half-shut eyes bent sideways. As the deckhands make fast the steamboats, the plank is thrown for the shore-going passengers. The young sisters hold out the skein, while the elder sister winds it off in a ball and stops now and then for the knots. The one-year wife is recovering and having a week ago born her first child. The clean-haired Yankee girl works with her sewing machine or in the factory or a mile. The paving man leans on his two-handed rammer. The reporter's lead flies swiftly over the notebook. The sign painter is lettering with blue and gold. The canal boy strolls on the towpath. The bookkeeper counts at his desk. The shoemaker waxes his thread. The conductor beats time for the band, and all the performers follow him. The child is baptized. The convert is making his first professions. The regatta is spread on the bay. The race is begun. How the white sails sparkle. The drover watching his drove sings out to them that would stray. The peddler sweats with his pack on his back. The purchaser higgling about the odd cent. The bride unrumbles her white dress. The minute hand of the clock moves slowly. The opium eater reclines with rigid head and just open lips. The prostitute draggles her shawl, her bonnet bobs on his tipsy and pimple neck. The crowd laugh at her black round oaths, the men jeer and wave to each other. Miserable, I do not laugh at your oath, nor jeer you. The president, holding the cabinet council, is surrounded by the great secretaries. On the piazza walk three matrons, stately and friendly with twin arms. The crew of the fish smack pack repeated layers of halibuts in the hold. The Missourian crosses the plains toting his wares and his kettles. As the fare collectors go through the train, he gives notice by the jingler of loose change. The floor men are laying the floor, the tinner are tinning the roof, the masons are calling for mortar. In single files he is shouldering his hot pass onward the laborers. Seasons pursuing each other, the indescribable crowd is gathered. It is the 4th of 7th month. With salutes of cannon in small arms. Season pursuing each other, the plover plods, the mower mows, and the winter grain falls in the ground. On the lakes, the pike fisher watches and waits by the hole in the frozen surface. The stump stands thick around the clearing. The squatter strikes deep with his axe. Flatboatmen make fast towards dusk near the cottonwood or pecan trees. Coon seekers go through the regions of the Red River, or through those drained by the Tennessee, or through those of the Arkansas. Torches shines in the dark that hands on the Chattahoochee or Altamaha. Patriarchs sit at supper with sons and grandsons and great-grandsons around them. In walls of adobe, in canvas stands rest hunters and trappers after their days of support. The city sleeps and the country sleeps. The living sleep for their time, the dead sleep for their time. The old husband sleeps by his wife, and the young husband sleeps by his wife. And these tend inward to me, and I tend outward to them. And such as it is to be of these more or less I am, and of these one and all I breathe the soul of myself.